I want to thank Audible for sponsoring this review. And if you don't know, Audible is the best platform out there when it comes to audiobooks, podcasts, guided meditation, and even sleep sounds. Got all sorts of stuff on their platform. And right now, if you go to audibletrial.com/popculturepodcast, you can get a free 30-day trial of Audible Premium Plus, which allows you to get 1 credit or 2 credits for Prime members. Good for any premium selection titles you like, yours to keep. And they also offer the Audible Plus catalog of podcasts, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals. Listen all you want, no credits needed. And also, at the end of your trial, a friendly email reminder before your trial ends. And yeah, it's a really great service. I don't get a chance to listen to too many audiobooks, but I do love to listen to podcasts. I also really love the sleep sounds. I use them every single night. So I highly recommend you check out this service. It's fantastic. And once again, that link is audibletrial.com/popculturepodcast. Now on with the review. All right, so Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is out now, and I'm going to be getting into some spoilers here. For those of you watching on YouTube, my non-spoiler review came out yesterday, and if you don't want to hear any spoilers, go check out that. But for the podcast listeners, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, just go ahead and click off the video. We are all good. Or not the video, but the podcast, rather. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, because this is the last thing I will talk about in this episode. By the way, it's still kind of weird with the whole YouTube podcast thing, doing things differently. It'll all make sense eventually. But yeah, spoiler time. If you don't want to hear any, get the hell out of here. I want to start off with the Illuminati, which is actually a group from the comics that usually consists of Doctor Strange, Namor, Black Bolt, Reed Richards, and Professor X. Might be forgetting somebody there. But in this film, it's a little bit different. We still have Black Bolt, which was definitely a surprise for me. I never watched Inhumans, so I don't know that character at all. But just from this power set, I was like, man, that's kind of a cool power there. Really powerful for sure. So it's cool to see Black Bolt. I don't know if it's the same actor from Inhumans. I'm guessing probably, but not 100% sure. Peggy Carter, Captain Carter, shows up as a member of the Illuminati. Don't know for sure if it's the same exact one from What If. Probably, maybe. I don't know. We also have Professor Charles Xavier. Sorry about my mic there. Of course, we saw him in the trailer. Well, didn't really see his face, but we knew it was him. Everybody knows Patrick Stewart. Baron Mordo, of course, is one of those members. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. I forgot for a second I was talking about spoilers. I was like, oh God, did I just spoil that? But he's Sorcerer Supreme in this universe that they go to. And who else is on there? Other than obviously the big one. But Captain Marvel, which is actually Monica Rambeau, Maria Rambeau, not Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. I was expecting Maria or Monica Rambeau, get them mixed up. But it makes more sense that it's Maria Rambeau because like the time frame of when Carol Danvers got her powers and all that kind of stuff. It's basically like a what if situation. It's like what if Maria got the powers instead of Carol. So that was kind of cool to see her there. I'm assuming it's the same actress. I haven't watched Captain Marvel in a while, but pretty sure that's the same actress. And then obviously the big one is John Krasinski as Reed Richards, which I still cannot believe I'm saying that. To be honest, he was never my first pick for Reed Richards. But after seeing him in the movie, I was just like, man, this is so cool. I can see why fans wanted it because he's awesome. Peyton Reed, I believe. Right? Peyton Reed? Right? Right? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Am I thinking of the wrong director? I can't remember. But the original director for the new Fantastic Four movie stepped down, and people were like, maybe John Krasinski could take over. And maybe we'll see him return as that character, but I don't know. Most of the Illuminati members seem to be pretty fucking dead, other than Baron Mordo, which we didn't see him die. Strange just kind of left him. So he's still alive, most likely, but the rest of them, I don't know. Which is crazy because in the movie they talked about taking down Thanos, and I'm just like, I get that Scarlet Witch is supposed to be like the most powerful being in the entire multiverse right now. But at the same time, like they took down Thanos and they just seemed really weak. up against her. I mean, I get it, trying to make Wanda more scary, I guess, and it works. She's terrifying in this movie, but I don't know. I just felt like they got taken down a little too easily, and I'm a little disappointed that they introduced some of those actors as those characters just to rip them right back out. But maybe they'll return in the future. I don't know. Maybe Captain Carter can return in What If. Maybe possibly John Krasinski could return as Reed Richards. Possibly. I mean, it's the multiverse, so you never know. They could do all sorts of stuff. But upon first viewing Doctor Strange, when Reed Richards was talking about the Fantastic Four, he said something about the 60s, and I'm like, was there a Fantastic Four maybe in the 60s set in like their universe where it's just like, oh yeah, this is an old team that we had, and they're not around anymore because they were around in the 60s. But I don't think that's the case. I think he was just making a joke about like a band in the 60s. But it got me thinking, like, maybe, I don't know. But we'll see what they end up doing with that. Wanda was asking Reed Richards, like, do you have, or no, he was like, I have kids of my own too. And then she's like, well, is your wife still alive? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, somebody's gonna raise them. At least they'll have somebody to raise them. And she's just like, but yeah, in the comics, like, I think the children of Sue Storm and Reed Richards are like pretty big characters and have they have powers as well. I don't know their names, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's something that could get introduced at some point. Maybe Emily Blunt will show up as Invisible Woman. I wasn't ever a huge fan of John Krasinski as Reed Richards, and we didn't get enough time with him to fully sell me on it, but I think Emily Blunt would be great as Invisible Woman, so I'd like to see that. But we'll see what they end up doing with this Fantastic Four project, if they'll recast the character completely now that John Krasinski came in and just died, essentially. But that was the moment out of all of them, out of both of the viewings, that people just lost their minds over. I didn't expect it. Nobody else expected it. Black Bolt was kind of cool, but like nobody really cares. Nobody watched Inhumans. But it is cool to have like an actual member from the comics in the movie and as a member of the Illuminati. So that was pretty cool there. Let me look at my notes. Excuse me. Yeah, Bruce Campbell has a cameo in here, not as Ash. I was hoping it'd be as Ash, but now he's just kind of like a vendor essentially. But he has some funny moments there, and also he's the post-credit scene. So a little disappointing that he had to be the post-credit scene just for kind of like a throwaway joke, but they did it with Spider-Man Homecoming. But at the same time, like, this movie's so much bigger than that in terms of scale and multiversal shit, and it's like they could have probably set up a little more, but oh well, it's a Sam Raimi movie. I'm still happy that we got a Bruce Campbell cameo, but it would have been so cool if we got Ash. I feel like they could have done it, but maybe with the studio rights and shit like that, it probably wouldn't have worked out. Yeah, so Wanda, my prediction was correct from my predictions video. She is definitely the villain of this movie. Not even just like one of the main villains. No, she is the main villain. And I expected that for the most part, but I didn't expect on this level. I thought there'd be like a little more at play, but like maybe Mephisto or something like that. And I was theorizing throughout the movie when they were talking about, oh, she can summon demons and stuff like that, and I was like, Mephisto, but no, that didn't happen. I thought it was interesting that Billy and Tommy were like actual. I don't know for sure if they were just like made up by Wanda and the other realities, or if they were actually like flesh and blood children. But yeah, cool to see them back. Maybe they'll return in the future. That'd be so fucking cool. I hope so, but who knows? Maybe they'll do like a Young Avengers thing, especially now that they have America Chavez there. They could definitely introduce her into that team. That'd be so cool. I would love it. Yeah, there's a lot of potential going forward with the characters here, mainly America Chavez. I feel like there's a lot of potential with their character going forward. So I hope they bring her back and she's not just like, maybe not just a one and done, but like more of a side character. I want her to be more prominent in the MCU, I guess. Her powers are fucking cool as hell. And by the end of the movie, it looks like she's going to learn, the sling ring shit. So maybe she could be a sorcerer too. Man, she was really cool. Hopefully I'm saying it right. Xochitl Gomez, really loved her in this movie. And another one of my predictions that came true that I talked about in my non-spoiler section. She was a much bigger part in the movie than the advertisements led us on to believe. And I'm happy about that because Definitely some great stuff there. It was banned in Saudi Arabia because she had two moms. Just like, come on, guys, get your heads out of your asses. Um, but yeah, that was emotional. Like, yeah, it was kind of dumb. That was like a bee that scared her, but I'm scared of bugs too, so I totally get it. But like her mom's getting sent away, and that's where I'm thinking like, man, we probably should have gotten another like 15, 20 minutes to actually like wrap that story up and like have her reunite with her moms. I think that would be fantastic for the movie, like a really emotional point in the film, like her reuniting with them and like apologizing to them and their parents being like, "Oh no, 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 no. Honey, it's okay. You were a kid." Oh, that would have made me cry, honestly. This movie did not make me cry. And I give a lot of props to any movie that makes me cry, even though it's really easy to do that because I cry at like Modern Family. But there's some good heartfelt Modern Family moments, so don't judge me too much. But yeah, I feel like it would have had a little more of an emotional punch if they could have done a little more with that plot line. But maybe since she can be a character moving forward, that's something they can do in the future. It'd be really cool if we got an America Chavez show. An America Chavez show on Disney Plus. I would really like that. That'd be really cool. What projects could she even show up in? Like maybe Shang-Chi or something? I don't know. What character would go best with that? I don't know. But I don't know what they're going to do with Doctor Strange going forward. They brought in, I think it was Charlize Theron, if I'm not mistaken, in the post credit, no, yeah, post credit scene. Um, Something to do with time fractures. I don't fucking know, dude. Something. That's where the new Rockstars videos will come into play for me because there's certain things in this movie I just don't understand. So I'll definitely need the breakdown. And by the time I watch that breakdown, maybe I'll come back and make a short little video or something like that, being like, all right, here's some things explained. Here's things that I found out just from, researching certain things and watching certain videos and stuff like that. I try not to copy other people's work or anything like that, but if New Rockstars makes a video, I will definitely talk about certain elements that I kind of missed. So, let me see what else I have written down here. I didn't write down a whole lot. A lot of it's just top of my head, but let's skip to the end of the movie. Wanda dies, maybe. We didn't really see her like die. A building collapsed on her, so it's like maybe. I have a feeling she's not dead because nobody's ever dead in these movies, to be honest. Um, except certain characters that won't be coming back, like probably Iron Man. I don't. Maybe Robert Downey Jr. could come back at some point, but I don't think it's a huge possibility right now. And then like Black Widow, I don't think they're bringing her back, to be honest. But um, yeah, I'm trying to think of like other big things here. When it comes to the multiple versions of Doctor Strange, I found myself getting a little confused because I thought Strange Supreme or something like that was supposed to be in this from What If, and maybe he was. Maybe that was the Strange in the like reality that was just getting sucked up into nothingness. Maybe that was him, but I'm not 100% sure. Or maybe it was Defender Strange. I just from the movie I can't tell. So that's where the new Rockstar stuff will come into play and probably hopefully make more sense to me. Um at times I had trouble following a little bit when it came to like multiple versions of people. Maybe just or not maybe, but basically just Doctor Strange. Multiple versions of him. I was just like, all right, which one is supposed to be Strange Supreme from What If, or like is none of them that character? I don't know. Not 100% sure, but yeah, one of my theories was correct that America Chavez and Doctor Strange went into an animated realm. That was when they were kind of going through all the different portals and into the different universes. And in the trailer, you can kind of see it, but they skip by it, obviously, because like it's kind of a big-ish moment. People didn't really lose their minds in the theater, unfortunately, but I was like, oh my God, I knew it. Um, but yeah, they did go into an animated universe for a little bit. That was really cool. Um, man, I definitely should have written more down. That's for sure. But I am very disappointed that they pretty much killed off all the Illuminati members. There is no like X-Men setup. There's no Deadpool in here. even though a lot of people thought they saw Deadpool on like one of those glass slivers on the first official poster. And for a while, I was like, oh my God, Deadpool's going to be in the movie. No, he's not in the movie. I think that probably would have messed up the flow of it a little more than anything, because this movie, for the most part, does take itself pretty seriously as opposed to a lot of the other Marvel movies. A lot of the other Marvel movies, like Endgame, that movie was surprisingly funny for the subject material, just like losing a lot of people and like going 5 years without these people being around. And it's dark, but that movie was surprisingly funny. And with this one, like it has its moments of humor, but it takes itself a lot more seriously than a lot of the other Marvel projects, which, I don't have a problem with them inserting humor into those movies because honestly, I really enjoy it. Um, but for me, it's nice. It's a nice change of pace for Marvel to like mostly take a movie seriously and not put too many jokes in there, because the subject matter of this movie is dark. There's a lot of dark things that happen in this movie. Just from the like first main fight alone, I mean, you have Defender Strange getting killed. That was pretty gruesome. But one of the most gruesome things in the opening for me was that fight with Gargantos, the big one-eyed monster, where they just stabbed him in the eye and his eye popped out and shit. That was dark. But the darkest part for me is just Wanda fucking murking the Illuminati members. That was intense, dude, for sure. And then the fight at Carmitage, probably saying that wrong. That was pretty brutal too. But overall, that Illuminati fight, it reminded me heavily of the opening of the Suicide Squad, where they're just killing people left and right, which disappoints me kind of because in the Suicide Squad, while there's like actors and stuff where you're just like, oh, I like that actor. You don't know most of those characters, like TDK, the Detachable Kid, Javelin, um, Black. It's not Black Samson. I forget the name of the character that Pete Davidson played, but yeah, like those characters getting killed off, you really don't care because like, what are they gonna do? This dude has a javelin. This dude has arms that come off and just smack people around. It's like, what are they gonna do? But in this movie, as opposed to the Suicide Squad, you have these legendary characters: Professor X. You have Reed Richards, Black Bolt. I mean, whatever. But like Haley Atwell as Captain Carter, to bring all these characters in just to kill them immediately, I'm like, what, dude? I mean, there's so much potential here, but I mean, I see what you're going for. I kind of appreciate it, but also like these are characters we could have used going forward. Maybe they still will, possibly in some way, shape, or form. But we'll really have to wait and see. By the way, with this spoiler review, it's less of a review and more of just like breaking down certain big spoilers. But yeah, I'm not going to be breaking down like every aspect of this movie because that would just take me too long, and I'd probably have to watch the movie like 20 more times to catch everything. So by the time that New Rockstars video or New Rockstars breakdown comes out, I might make another video about Doctor Strange and just like talk about certain things that I missed. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else like super huge that I really wanted to talk about. Not really, to be honest. I think I about covered it. Um I mean, I pretty much gave enough of a review in my non-spoiler review, and this is just more of like a kind of breakdown in a way. And this is just me talking about certain big aspects of the movie, but overall, the biggest aspect for me, like the biggest surprise in this movie, was definitely John Krasinski as Reed Richards. I didn't expect that in this movie. I in a way, I was like, maybe he'll be in there. Maybe we'll have some sort of introduction to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Not really an introduction to the X-Men. I mean, we had Professor X, but it doesn't go any further than that. Same goes for Reed Richards. Like, I mean, he hints about like his kids and his wife and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, like, we don't get any huge setup. But yeah, I'm really trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. I feel like this should be longer because it's spoilers, and I kept saying like the whole movie is a spoiler. But I mean, if I go on, it's just me breaking down every bit of this movie, and I don't really feel like doing that. And plus, it's a lot to edit. But hopefully this suffices for you guys in terms of like a spoiler review / breakdown. Yeah, I thought I'd have more to say, and maybe I'll add another recording to the podcast episode after I watch it again tomorrow. but it most likely won't be available on YouTube if I add anything else to my thoughts on Doctor Strange in terms of just like, the spoiler review in general. But when it comes to like the breakdown and stuff like that, after I watch the new Rockstar stuff, that's gonna probably be its own separate video. And then I'm debating tomorrow when I go to the movies to see it again, asking certain just strangers, audience members, what they thought of the film, and maybe putting that video out. Maybe if I have the balls to go up and ask strangers to record them. It's something I'd like to do. It sounds kind of fun. Engage a little bit, maybe get a little more traction on the podcast from local people. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This is the spoiler review, so I'm assuming most of you have watched it, or maybe you just don't care about hitting this fucking mic. I'm assuming most of you have watched it. Either that, or you just don't care about spoilers. So, what did you think of the movie? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you in the middle? I'm definitely more in the middle right now. I don't fully know how I feel. I think after watching it twice, in my initial reaction video, I think I gave it a 8 out of 10. For now, though, I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. Still nowhere near my favorite Marvel movie, but I still appreciate certain aspects that they're doing here. Sam Raimi did a really good job making this feel like a horror film. And I love it when Marvel and movies in general that follow a formula switch it up a little bit and try to genre splice and do different things. So seems like that's what Marvel is trying to do a lot with a lot of the newer projects, and I really appreciate it. Like Thor: Love and Thunder looks like an '80s movie kind of, so they're going with different vibes for different movies and different shows. So I mean, like She-Hulk is supposed to be more of like maybe not a sitcom, but more of a comedy, which we haven't really gotten too much of like just a straightforward comedy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, like I said, a lot of the movies have a lot of humor in it, especially Endgame. Like, what the hell? That's a dark movie to have a lot of humor in, but they do it pretty well. It's Marvel. I have faith in them for the most part. After this, is my faith shaken? No, not really. It's just one that I don't particularly care for amongst other ones, but I still appreciate what they did in the film and setting certain things up and, you know, introducing this multiversal element to the MCU. It can open so many doors down the line. Like, I mean, if they wanted to bring John Krasinski in as maybe a different Reed Richards or like a prequel or something, I would prefer it not be a prequel because, you know, how it ends at that point with Reed Richards dying. And I guess he could go on and be like, oh, Sue Storm and all that, but I would rather have it be separate from what's going on here. I would still enjoy John Krasinski being casted as Reed Richards, but they just have to go with a little bit different of a take with that, I guess. I really don't want a prequel. So, yeah, that's all I have for the spoiler discussion for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I want to thank you guys so much for watching / listening. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Pop Culture Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know whenever a new video is out. Like I said, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next time.